Okay. We'll call the meeting to order. Good evening and welcome to the December 8th, 2020 Vista Consolidated Meeting. The meeting is now called back to order. The meeting is being conducted utilizing teleconferencing and electronic means consistent with State of California Executive Order N-29-20. In the event of a quorum of the City Council, in the event a quorum of the City Council loses electrical power or suffers an internet connection outage that is not corrected within 10 minutes, the meeting will automatically be adjourned. Any items noticed as public hearings will be continued to the next regularly scheduled evening meeting of the City Council. Any other items on the agenda that the Council has not taken action on will be placed on a future agenda. So with that, we'll do the roll call. City Clerk Kathy Valdez, please conduct our roll call.
Thank you. Please state your here when I call your name. Mayor Ritter.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Rigby.
Present.
Councilmember Franklin.
Here.
Councilmember Green.
Here.
Councilmember Contreras.
Present.
All members are present. Also joining us are City Manager Patrick Johnson and City Attorney Daryl Piper. Thank you.
In accordance with the Brown Act, I'd like to announce that as a result of convening simultaneous meetings, the members of the Buena Sanitation District will receive compensation of $147.75 for the district meeting pursuant to Buena Sanitation District Ordinance 2006-1. For members of the public that are participating through Zoom, you may raise your hand to indicate you would like to speak by clicking the raise hand feature on your screen or by pressing *9 on your phone. Instructions on how to join the meeting through Zoom are provided on the agenda cover sheet. You may only speak on an item once, and public comment is limited to 3 minutes. So with that, we'll go to the approval of the agenda by our City Manager, Patrick Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. There are no changes this evening to the agenda.
Okay, our City Attorney, Daryl Piper, will bring us out of our closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. The City Council did meet in closed session. With respect to item CS1, no action is required to be reported at this time. And with respect to item CS2, the City Council unanimously voted to recommend approval of the Memorandum of Agreement and the Cultural Conservation Easement. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. We have 3 presentations this evening. The first is the results of the November 3rd, 2020 general municipal election, and our City Clerk Valdez will provide the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. Actually, one person has their hand raised, so I'm just going to let them know we're going to lower all the hands, and then when we get to an item they want to speak about, they can raise their hands, just because I'm not sure which item they want to speak on. So, all right. So the November 3rd, 2020 general municipal election results were certified by the San Diego County Register of Voters on December 3rd. The number of ballots voted on in the municipal election in Vista was 19,889. And the certified results show that Joe Green was elected to serve as City Council member for District 2, and that Katie Melendez was elected to serve as the representative for City Council District 3. There's a resolution tonight being presented to adopt those results. Thank you.
And so we need a motion to certify that election. And so I'd like to—
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Deputy Mayor Rigby.
If you wouldn't mind, I would like to move that we accept the results of the 2020 election.
Okay, do I have a second for that?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. So please do a roll call vote.
Thank you. Please state your vote when I call your name. Mayor Ritter.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Rigby.
Yes.
Councilmember Franklin.
Aye.
Councilmember Green.
Aye.
Councilmember Contreras.
Aye.
It passes unanimously.
Thank you. And next, I'd like to present a proclamation to Deputy Mayor Rigby in recognition of her service to the community. So I'm going to read the proclamation, and she's done a lot of service in our community here. So I'd like to recognize her for that. So we have some whereases here, Deputy Mayor. So we're going to go here. So whereas Deputy Mayor Amanda Young Rigby is a proud Vista resident who served on Parks and Recreation Commission from 2007 to 2012, was elected to the Vista City Council in 2012, and was appointed and served as deputy mayor in 2016 and 2020. And whereas while representing the city, Deputy Mayor Rigby has served on many regional boards and commissions, including the League of California Cities, Mayors and Council Members Department President, San Diego Division President, the Revenue and Taxation Policy Committee for 7 years, and elected to the Board of Directors, and Cena's Wastewater Authority Board of Directors and Vice Chair of Policy and Finance Committee, San Diego Association of Governments Board of Directors Alternate, and Regional Energy Working Group, Public Safety Committee, and Litter Abatement Subcommittee. Whereas Deputy Mayor Rigby's leadership has helped ensure financial stability for the city while maintaining essential community services through the adoption of fiscally sounding operating budgets and policies supporting increasing and sustaining reserves. And whereas Deputy Mayor Rigby was instrumental in the revitalization of the downtown area that has placed Vista on the map as a tourist attraction. Furthermore, she has supported continued development of strong, safe neighborhoods with the investment of $10 million in community park improvements and renovations, including the construction of 2 new skate parks, the construction of the Linda Rhodes Community Center, and the construction of the Bub Williamson Park Improvement Project. Additionally, she championed Rainbow Bridge, a bridge in South Buena Vista Park that memorializes pet dogs. Many successes have been achieved during Deputy Mayor Rigby's tenure on the City Council, including bringing the Paseo Santa Fe project to fruition, an all-time low crime rate for Vista, the elimination of the city's multi-year structural deficit, the increase in emergency reserves, significant investments in street and roadway improvements, the development of strategic plan to address homelessness, the development of the craft brew industry, and the addition of 3 new hotels, the Hyatt Place, the Marriott Town Center, and Ayers hotels to the city, and in obtaining $1 million grant for the Buena Vista Creek extension. Whereas Deputy Mayor Rigby has tirelessly donated her time and efforts to numerous causes and issues and been active in several service clubs, including Daughters of the American Revolution, the Rancho Buena Vista chapter, the chapter officer, the Historic Preservation Committee working on various projects at the Rancho Buena Vista Adobe, and recipient of the Adobe's President's Award, Boy Scouts of America, Girl Scouts USA, Vista Pop Warner cheer coach, and has actively supported the city's adopted Marine Unit, HMLA 369, all veterans and active duty military. So now, therefore, the mayor and members of the Vista City Council express their sincere appreciation to Deputy Mayor Rigby for her service to the Vista residents and surrounding community, and hereby proclaim Tuesday, December 8th, 2020 as Deputy Mayor Amanda Young Rigby Day in the city of Vista. So congratulations to Amanda. You have made a huge improvement in our city, and we appreciate all that you've done for us. Yes.
Madam Mayor, and if I may take a moment, I just want to say to the people of Vista, thank you very much for the past 8 years, for the confidence and the trust that you've placed in me. I'm very proud as a councilwoman what we've accomplished as a council, as a city, and also what I brought to the table myself. I am proud of initiatives that I advocated for that we got implemented in our city, and I'm proud of things I advocated that we got rid of in this city, because there's always that balance, right? It has absolutely been the honor of a lifetime to serve as your voice on the City Council. And I thank you with a full heart and enormous gratitude for everything you have allowed me to do. And I congratulate Ms. Melendez, and I wish her well in this position. Thank you, Vista, always from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Rigby. So would anybody else like to, Councilmember Green?
Yeah, thank you so much, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Deputy Mayor Rigby. When I see your face and think about everything you do, the word class comes to mind. And I've had a rough day, so I went ahead and write down what I remember and appreciate most about you. So it's been a privilege and honor to serve alongside you for the last 4 years. Your commitment to our city and pride in being a Vistan shows through in everything that you do. I appreciate you taking the time to teach me proper etiquette, whether it had to do with dining or saluting a flag. And I'll always consider you the Wonder Woman Deputy Mayor of Vista. I'm always available for an event selfie with you, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for you. Thank you for your years of service to our city, and just thank you so much in general, Deputy Mayor, for everything that you've done for Vista. You're appreciated and loved tremendously.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. That means a lot.
Councilmember Franklin.
I just want to say, Deputy Mayor Rigby, it has been a real honor to work with you these last 6 years. I can say that of all the public servants I've worked with in my career in public service, I've never seen anybody more dedicated or harder working than you, who gave their constituents their all, who represented their constituents' interests as if they were always their own. And no one should be prouder of the job they've done in public service than you. It's been an honor to serve with you, and thank you for your service to our city.
Okay,
And I
so-
would
Councilmember
love to
Karas.
say, yes, Deputy Mayor Rigby, it has been a pleasure and an honor to serve next to you for these 2 years. And I just remember getting to know you before I was, a council member, when you fought so hard for Bub Williamson Park, for it to really be the vision for the community that the community wanted. And so many people have been changed for the better because of the steps that you've taken to really represent your community, our community here in Vista. And you will be deeply missed. And I enjoyed all the conversations that we've had, and I look forward to seeing all the great things that you're going to continue to do. I send you blessings to you and your family. And again, thank you so much for everything that you've done for Vista.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
I think Pat, Councilmember, I think our city manager has something to present.
Thank you, Mayor. You almost promoted me.
I almost again, I do that every now and then.
So we have the customary plate. I'll hold it up here if you can see it, to provide to Deputy Mayor. And the inscription reads, Deputy Mayor Amanda Young Rigby, City of Vista, 2012 to 2020. With sincere appreciation for your dedication and commitment to the City of Vista, we commend and thank you for your years of invaluable service, and we wish you well in your future endeavors. So that is the customary plate. And then on a personal note, I just want to say that I have truly appreciated your leadership and your friendship over the last 8 years. When you work closely with somebody for as long as you do, you learn about each other both on a professional level and a personal level. And I promised her that I wouldn't write a book or even a chapter, so we'll leave it at that. But I've always admired the fact that you've always stuck to your principles, decisions that you felt were right and may not have always been popular. You have stuck by your guns there. You're also somebody who has done your homework on everything that you do. And so I knew when we'd meet and I'd see these thousands of pages of highlighted notes in different colors, and maybe it wasn't 1,000, maybe it was 100. You put a lot of effort into doing your job, and you were very diligent. And I just want to say that it's been tremendous to work with you. I'll miss our time together, but I know that you've got some exciting things going on in the future. And I echo everything that everybody has said about you. One of the things I do want to say is you should be very proud of the financial standing that you're leaving the city in, because I certainly know that when you started in 2012, we weren't necessarily in that financial position then. And so you should be very proud of that and take away good thoughts for that. And I speak for all the city staff. You'll be missed in the organization. And I wish you and D'Arce and Helen and Ian the best. And we do have one more thing for you. We have the customary city sign. So this may be a little, I'll see if I can get it all in the picture. There it is. So it says Rigby Way. And I will tell you, I've been on the other side of Rigby's Way a few different times. So you'll have your own street sign to put up. You have your own day. Now you have your own street. I wouldn't call the post office and tell them to change your address, though, because I'm not sure your mail will be delivered correctly. But we want you to hang this proudly somewhere at your house. And again, congratulations, and we will miss you.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, may I just make one final comment to staff? I was remiss in my remarks, and I do want to say thank you to staff. Citywide, we have one of the best staff, I think, in the state, which is why in my travels throughout the state, I hear people talk about Vista and our staff, and a couple of our staff members, people are trying to poach away to other cities, and we won't let that happen. But I want to say thank you. Staff has always been responsive, always been diligent, always been cooperative. And I really, really do thank you all for the work that you do on behalf of our citizens. So thank you very much. And with that, I bid you all a fine farewell. And
Before you go, I'm sorry, we have a caller who would like to say something as well. And of course, I would also like to thank you for all of your service. And it has definitely been a pleasure working with you. I know you think you roped me into working on the California League of Cities, but I enjoyed our time working together.
well, I appreciate you being there and very much. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, I've got a couple. Oh, yep.
Before I put the caller on, could I also add my concurrence really in everything that's been said? I've worked with many, many city council members, both here in Vista and in other cities in California. And I know of no one who has been quite as dedicated and forthright about service on the council and service to the public. It's been an honor and a pleasure to work with you, Deputy Mayor Rigby. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right, so our first caller ends in the number 7234. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you in. You go ahead and unmute. And if you give your name and you can go ahead and speak for 3 minutes. There you go.
Good evening, City Council members. My name is Terry Ann Skelly. I'm a mother of 3 adult sons and wanted to extend a special thank you to Amanda Rigby for her tireless support of young people and for the policies that affect their lives. It has not gone unnoticed among parents like me that serving on City Council is often a thankless task. Parents respected all the energy, intelligence, dedication, heart, and soul you've invested on our behalf. Parents value your sure hand, Amanda, in asking questions about the ramifications to youth and their families when public health policies, like marijuana businesses, were under discussion at the City Council level. You exemplify that ideal of servant leaders who put others before their own self-interest. May others be guided by your example. With admiration and great respect, I thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Next, we have Joshua Tienda. Go ahead, Joshua.
Hello?
There you go. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I have known, good evening, City Council, and I have known Mayor, I have known Amanda Rigby since she first started campaigning, and I could say that I have not met a person that is more dedicated to her work and her constituents than Amanda, and she's when they talk about having constituents' interests, you could put Amanda's picture up as Employee of the Month, because she, as you can see, she's not a rubber stamp. She asks the tough questions, like for various projects, business, like for when business developments come, and she always looking for what's best for the city. And for that, I want to thank for her service for 8 years in City Council. It doesn't go unnoticed. God bless you, and God bless you. God help you in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
And Kathy, we have a letter that was written on behalf of the League of California Cities. And if you don't mind, I could read it right now. It is, Dear Deputy Mayor Young Rigby, on behalf of the San Diego Division of the League of California Cities, it is with sincere and deep appreciation that we thank you for your decade plus years of service as a member of the Vista City Council and previously the Parks and Rec Commission. We applaud your commitment to public service and dedication to enhancing the lives of the community and the region. Not only have you given yourself to improve the city, but you have focused as well on the betterment of municipal government in numerous capacities throughout your involvement with the League of California Cities. We are grateful for your devotion and hard work as a San Diego County Division Executive Officer, serving in the roles of First Vice President, President, and immediate past President over the past 6 years, your 7 years of service on the League's Revenue and Taxation Policy Committee, and most recently, election to the League Board of Directors as chairing the Mayor's and Council Members Department, which included overseeing and participating in numerous conferences, educational sessions, and workshops for the benefits of elected officials throughout the state. The City of Vista is all the better for your years of diligent work, dedication, and compassion. We recognize that on every board, commission, task force, and committee in which you have engaged, you have given 100% of your time and energy. Your colleagues throughout the region applaud you for your service, and you know you will remain an integral part of the Vista community and the San Diego region. A heartfelt thank you and good wishes, Amanda. The League of California Cities, San Diego County Division, comprised of the 18 cities throughout the county, thanks you for your service to the City of Vista, the San Diego County Division, and the state of California. We know with your passion and focus, you'll continue to do great deeds and be successful in future ventures. And it is signed Catherine Hill, Regional Public Affairs Manager for the League of California Cities.
And I actually have one more speaker, Cindy Taylor. Go ahead, Cindy.
Deputy Mayor Rigby, on behalf of Operation Hope North County, we just want to wish you all the best. We know this is not goodbye. We thank you for your dedicated and tireless advocacy for those in need in our community. And we just look forward to the continued work together. I just thank you personally for always going above and beyond to help us and find out what our needs are and reach out. You've been a true champion for us and for so many nonprofits in the city. So we thank you for your years of service to Vista.
Thank you very much. It all means a great deal to me, and it truly touches my heart. And I thank you all very, very much. So if there are no more callers or anything, I just wish you all well, and I will see you around the water cooler. Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Deputy Mayor. Thank you. Okay, with that, now I'm going to turn this over to City Clerk Valdez for the oath of office for the newly elected members of the City Council.
Thank you, Mayor. And I know our staff is working on bringing in Katie Melendez, but I did want to mention that I met with both council member elects today to issue their official oath of office and get them to sign off on that so that we can move forward with the meeting tonight since we're meeting virtually. But we did want to do a ceremonial oath of office tonight. So we'll start with Joe Green. And Mayor, if you'd go ahead and issue his oath, I'd appreciate it.
Okay. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Joe Green, do solemnly affirm.
I, Joe Green, do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance.
To the Constitution of the United States.
To the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
That I take this obligation freely.
I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of evasion.
Or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge.
The duties upon which I am about to enter.
The duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations, Mr. Green, council member.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor.
Congratulations. I'll go ahead and do Councilmember Melinda's now. If you'll please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Oh.
I, Katie Melendez,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic.
foreign and domestic.
I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California,
That I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that's it for the oaths, Mayor.
Okay, congratulations to both of our council members. With that, we will go to business. Now we have to do our business here. So first on our agenda is our consent calendar. The recommendations on the following consent calendar will be enacted in one motion unless an item is removed from the calendar. Any member of the public may remove an item by using the raise hand feature or pressing *9 now. Items removed from the consent calendar will be considered immediately following adoption of the calendar. We have 21 consent items this evening. Please note that a revision was made to C18, which was posted and distributed to all members. So would any of the council members want to remove an item? Not seeing any hands raised. Do we have any requests from the public?
Councilmember Franklin was raising his hand. Did you?
I was simply going to offer a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Okay, I do have two individuals who've raised their hands, so we can see which items they would like to speak on.
Okay.
First is Jim Riggenbach. Jim, which item did you want to speak on?
18 and 20. If I don't know if I can do 2 or not.
18. Yes, that's fine. So we will leave your hand raised and call you when we get to those.
Okay, thank you.
And the next is call-in user. I don't have a number, so let's see. Go ahead, caller, if you'd please state your name and what item you would like to have pulled. Can you unmute yourself? Fast to mute. Okay, unfortunately, I cannot, caller is not unmuting. So.
What are the instructions to unmute for callers?
Well, it should prompt them. It could be that they're using an older version that may not be letting them in. Let's see. Oh, I don't have another one.
Should be *6 to unmute.
Oh, there we go. All right, caller, if you'd state your name and what item you would like to speak on. Hello? Okay. I'm going to go to the next person. Kathleen Lippett. Kathleen, what item did you want pulled? Kathleen? There we go. What item did you want pulled?
She's muted.
We're having trouble tonight. There we go.
I wanted to speak in non-agenda public comment.
Okay, so that'll be at the end of the meeting. So we'll have you re-raise your hand later in the meeting. Thank you.
There's no chat option at the bottom of the screen. So
Okay.
I was unable to tell you why or what I wanted to speak on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to, caller, are you on the line? Okay, so we will go with C18 and C20.
Then I'd look for a motion for the balance of the consent calendar.
I move approval of the balance of the consent agenda.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Please do a roll call vote.
All right, please state your vote when I call your name. Mayor Ritter?
Yes?
Councilmember Franklin?
Aye.
Councilmember Green?
Aye.
Councilmember Contreras?
Aye.
Councilmember Melendez?
Aye.
Item passes unanimously.
Okay, now we will go to item number C18, appointments of officials to boards and committees. So I think we probably need to hear from the speaker first, if everybody agrees. So it'll be Mr. Riggenbach.
Yes, thank you. So I just, I think these appointments are very consequential to the city. And so I would just love to hear who's being appointed and the rationale behind the appointments. And that's it. Thank you.
All right. Is the list out there so that the public can see it?
Yes, so the your memo as well as a master appointment list are all provided in the agenda report.
And they're available live online at cityofvista.com at the agenda link at the very top center of the screen.
Correct.
So is the question just kind of like asking for a staff report on this, just to go through the reading of the names? I feel like that's something we could do.
Mayor, if you'd like, we can just read the names of the representatives that were appointed to outside organizations, or we can read the master list of all appointments that include staff as well.
I think just the outside organizations is okay. I don't know that he needs.
Okay.
So who will read that?
I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay.
We have the North County Transit District, which is NCTD, and the representative will be Karina Contreras, and the alternate will be Katie Melendez. The second one on the list is we have San Diego Association of Governments, or otherwise known as SANDAG. We have the representative as Judy Ritter. We have the first alternate as Joe Green. We have the first alternate as John Franklin, and the second alternate as Joe Green. And then we have third, the Regional Solid Waste Association, RISWA, and the representative is Joe Green. The alternate is Karina Contreras. Fourth, we have the North County Dispatch Joint Powers Agency, which is otherwise referred to as NORTHCOM. We have the representative as John Franklin, the alternate as Joe Green. And then we have the California Joint Powers Insurance Authority. The representative is Judy Ritter. The alternate is Patrick Johnson. And we have two more alternates, which are Dolores Gascon and Annalisa Holbrook. And then our sixth one and final one on the outside organization list is the Encino Wastewater Authority. This represents both the City Council and Buena Sanitation District. The representative is Judy Ritter. The other representative is John Franklin, and our alternate is Elmer Alex, which is a staff member in engineering.
Okay, I'm not sure that answers the questions, but.
And I do have a couple of other speakers now.
On this particular issue?
I think, yes, so I think so. So this is the same caller. We're going to try again, I believe. All right, caller, are you there? If you could go ahead and unmute.
Unmuted.
There we go. If you please state your name,
Hello.
and then you can speak for up to 3 minutes.
Actually, this was on item C9. I was attempting to get through minutes ago.
Oh, okay. So we approved the consent calendar, but I think I'll look at our city attorney. I think it's okay if you want to make a comment on it.
Yes,
I would like that.
Comment on it, but it has already been approved.
Okay.
Well, I attempted to unmute as many times as a dozen times. The item was about the stop sign on Maryland Drive, and there's huge problems with this thing that need to be addressed. First off, on your in the package on Exhibit 6, page 23, you'll see that at least 3 property owners have been denied their rights of even being notified. That's that the city has actually documented. When you look at federal, state, and even city guidelines, a stop sign on Maryland Drive doesn't even meet the criteria. It doesn't meet federal guidelines, state guidelines, or even city guidelines, and yet it's being proposed. State guidelines even say, quote, stop signs should not be used for speed control. In the traffic engineer's own report on your first page, it says that it does not meet the quantitative criteria for all stop signs. So it's pretty clear there too. Again, the criteria just hasn't been met. Lastly, you go to the city's own ordinance for traffic calming, and you'll see that it stipulates that stop signs should not be used for speed control as well. And then it sets a different criteria for what actually is necessary to put a stop sign in. If the criteria hasn't been met, and there was 0 accidents in 3 years and 0 pedestrian traffic and 0 this and 0 that, it says, hey, a group of 75% of the owners can get together and they can go to the traffic commission. Well, your own documents on Exhibit 6, again, page 23, show that the petition doesn't have 75% of the local folks there that are interested in having this thing done. So in all of the documentation, this should never have come before council. And in reality, both federal and state guidelines say, hey, there's other repercussions that come from unnecessary stop signs. Accidents is the number one that's there. So if the city didn't use a standard, a federal or a state, or even the city's own programs to go and push this forward, they're going to be liable for every single accident that happens out there, for every single pedestrian issue that comes up. This really needs to be denied and go back to what the actual traffic calming program actually states that it says it's going to do. In the Vista's 9-page document, it says, hey, we're gonna try some traffic calming issues. We're gonna involve all of the people that are there. We're gonna put up some signage. We're gonna do some enforcement so that we can actually enforce speed limits. And none of that has been done. As in the document, it says phase 1 will be done before you go to a stop sign. Well, that didn't happen in this case.
Can I please get your name for the record?
This is Mr. Dennis, D-E-N-N-I-S.
Thank you. Okay, so I apologize. So we'll go back to public comments. I have one other, I believe, for C18. So let me see. It says owner. Go ahead. Can you need to unmute yourself, please, and state your name?
I believe this was the same comment for C9.
Okay. And what is your name?
This is the same call-in for C9 opposed to it. This was for Zoom. We're trying to get on the phone.
Okay. And what's your name for the record?
My name is Mr. Stephen Dennis, for the record.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I have one more caller. We'll see what it's for.
Okay.
Okay, phone number ending in 8889. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
Hello, my name is David Castro. I am a resident here on the Maryland subject of C9, and I'd just like to make a statement.
Okay, again, the item has been approved, but for the record, you may go ahead and make a statement.
Thank
go
you.
Ahead.
I was just calling in and had some concerns about the stop sign as well. I really we have a small business here. We do worldwide shipping and whatnot, and there's a lot of crime. I know around stop signs themselves, statistically, you're going to get a more higher volume of traffic that will stop. And concerning this particular area, it's actually pretty close to my house. And that is very concerning to our business. Now, we're going to have to up costs of cameras and different things like that. Unfortunately, the speed that is here and has been here, it's just been one of those areas of concern as far as the fact of if you want it looked at, you would hope that there would be patrol to be able to calm the area down. Unfortunately, we haven't had any of that. Anytime we've called Vista Sheriff's Department, we've occasionally got some of the time they've come out and whatnot. But again, like I emphasize, and I want to make sure this is emphasized, the fact that as a small business, it really puts a strain on our pocketbook of having to step up, and now with extra costs possibly of theft and things like that, because we have packages coming and going at any time during the day, and we can't always sit and watch them just to make sure they're going in or out from anywhere from USPS to UPS to FedEx to other carriers. So this is very concerning to us. Again, it does cause and raise lots of concerns for us when we're here, knowing the fact that we can't sit and guard, and a stop sign will not cause it will not just bring your traffic down as far as speed limit. You put one up north, up by the school there, and there was just one done. And there's been several, I've seen it myself, several people running the stop sign. And there's a, stop sign up at north and then one right down by the school. And it just, again, it causes so much traffic and confusion there that people are parking the cars literally in front of the roads, blocking traffic. And so this is just a cause for major concern in this area. And I know you guys have passed it. Unfortunately, I wish we would have been more notified that this was going on, and it wasn't. So it is a very big concern for us.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'd make a motion to approve item C18.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Do a roll call vote.
Okay, if you please state your vote when I call your name. Mayor Ritter?
Yes.
Councilmember Franklin?
Aye.
Councilmember Green?
Aye.
Councilmember Contreras?
Aye.
Councilmember Melendez?
Aye.
The item passes unanimously.
That takes us down to item C20, and I think we have the speaker again, Mr. Riggenbach.
Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to point out one of the goals under public safety is to continue to hire more deputies. And when I read that goal and think about it, it's kind of hard to come up with a word to describe it that's not too insulting, but the word that's that comes to mind is lazy. That feels like a really lazy goal to have. It really sounds like a politician's soundbite rather than an actual goal that the city should have. It sounds like the goal of a city council who's not really interested in doing research or asking questions of the sheriff or learning about criminal justice. And really, based on the last Sheriff's Department report from the captain, there is really no evidence that the Sheriff's Department needs or wants another deputy based on his last report. So I'm not sure why that's even in there. I have a feeling, I mean, I know one of the other goals is to reduce crime, and I'm assuming that's why hiring more deputies seems like a good idea. But I think that money that you would spend on a new deputy, which I think is like between $200,000 and $300,000 per position, that would be much better spent connecting people to resources. So please reconsider that goal. And if you keep that goal, I really encourage all the council members to do a lot of research to find out if that really is an effective use of funds. Thank you.
Thank you.
So then I'd look for a motion.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I would just speak to the goals and specifically the city's priority to add more deputies. We went through a period of nearly 15 years where we didn't increase the number of deputies serving our citizens while our citizen population continued to grow by about 1% a year. And so in order to maintain the ratio of deputy sheriffs, sworn officers serving our population, we've made it an official goal of the city to increase the number of deputies, something that I'm proud that we've made steps to do. So with that, I would make a motion to approve, we're on C20, to approve C20.
Can I have a second for that?
I will second that, Madam Mayor.
I have a motion and a second. Please do a roll call vote.
Thank you. Please state your vote when I call your name. Mayor Ritter?
Yes.
Councilmember Franklin?
Aye.
Councilmember Green?
Aye.
Councilmember Contreras?
Aye.
Councilmember Melendez?
Aye.
The item passes unanimously.
Okay, that takes us to our public hearings. We have one public hearing this evening. This public hearing is to receive testimony on the proposed development code amendment regarding rehabilitative mental health services. So the public hearing is now open. Community Development and Engineering Director John Conley will provide the staff report. And if any members of the public wish to speak on this item, they may indicate so by using the raise hand feature or by pressing *9 now. Speakers will be called upon after the staff presentation. So I'm going to turn that over to Director John Conley.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an amendment to the Development Code, chapters 1802, 1836, and 1838 related to rehabilitative mental health services. If you go to the next slide, please. So staff has received a number of zoning requests for mental health services. This covers a gamut of different services. But particularly, we've gotten some recently for therapeutic, rehabilitative mental health services that are under 24 hours, which are not classified in our zoning code. We have a psychiatric hospital classification and a health services classification for services that last more than 24 hours, but those that are under are not classified. Because we have a permissive zoning code, uses that are not listed are not permitted. So those uses that are requesting these types of services that are under 24 hours, because they're not listed in the code, they cannot be established in Vista. So in an effort to accommodate such uses and provide these services for the community, staff's recommending certain amendments to Title 18, which is the zoning code, to address rehabilitative mental health services. Next slide, please. So particularly, we want to amend the chapters of the Development Code to implement a category of uses as rehabilitative mental health services. This would include amendments to Chapter 1802, which is definitions, 1836, which is the office professional zone, and 1838, which is the C1 commercial zone. And as I mentioned, these are all services that are less than 24 hours. Next slide. In Chapter 1802, we would add a definition for rehabilitative mental health services facility, which is a facility that provides any of the mental health services that are listed in Title IX of the California Code of Regulations. And these are the 4 that we're recommending. There are a number of others. The 4 we're recommending are day treatment intensive, day rehabilitation, crisis intervention, and crisis stabilization. Day treatment intensive and day rehabilitation are essentially a structured program of services that provide therapy and other services for mental health purposes. The crisis intervention and stabilization are more urgent services that are provided when a more timely response is needed for the patients that are in the service. Next slide, please. We would also amend Chapter 1836, the office professional zone, to allow rehabilitative mental health services facilities under the list of special uses, and 1838, the C1 commercial zone, to incorporate the same use. Both of these categories would be under the special use category in these zoning definitions, meaning that these rehabilitative mental health services facilities can only be established with a special use permit. Also including them in the C1 zone would allow them in the C2, C3, or M1 zone, since those are incorporated by reference in the other zoning categories. Next slide, please. I included in the staff report, and it's shown here, a map of the zoning categories throughout the city that the rehabilitative mental health services facilities would be allowed in. They're shown here. The commercial and office professional zones are primarily located along the city's major arterials and along the freeway. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, the proposed amendment would allow rehabilitative mental health services facilities in the office professional, all the commercial zones, and the manufacturing M1 zone with a special use permit. These types of facilities typically have a wide range of conditions, including various populations and rules affecting their use, which can be reviewed under the special use permit process. A special use permit is a discretionary review process that provides tools for the decision makers to address operational conditions or locational characteristics, security, lighting, parking, any other provisions for the service. And so the staff's recommending these uses through the use permit process so that the decision makers have some control over where these uses are established and how they're operated. Next slide, please. The Planning Commission reviewed the staff's recommendation back in November and recommended approval. And with that, staff is recommending that the City Council approve amendments to Chapters 1802, 1836, and 1838 of the Development Code as presented. And that completes my staff report. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, if I may be recognized after public comment.
Yes, Councilmember Franklin.
Do we have any public comment on this item?
We do not have any public comment.
Thank you.
But actually, I'm sorry, I'll go ahead and say it this time that we'll close the opportunity for public comment.
This is a very important item. This change in our land use policy precedes some very important projects that have been in the works for a long time. This is so important because we've been having a passionate and heated and ongoing conversation about how we help those in our city and in our society that need help. Those who are homeless, those who are addicted to drugs, those who suffer from chronic mental illness. This land use policy change is indicative of our city's commitment to bring mental health services to those who are in need of them in our city. This is a real change. This change will precede more services that are presently in the works that this change was necessary to accommodate. I'm very proud to have been a part of those, and I appreciate those members of the council who have supported those services. But as we talk about increasing the complement of deputy sheriffs, as we talk about cleaning up the trash in our streets and public spaces, as we talk about how do we cope and try and solve and end homelessness, accommodating new services for mental health is incredibly important. We are committed as a city to doing that. We have spent more than $3.5 million already to combat homelessness and help with those who need mental health assistance. So this is a really important item. I would ask everybody who has been following along in this conversation, to take note of what we're doing tonight as one in a number of steps that we've been taking over the last several years to really, keep our word and not just tend to sort of the public safety side of the house, but also, Mr. Riggenbach talked about providing services and connecting people with services. That's what we're doing with this item and the solutions that are going to follow because of this item. So with that, I would offer a motion that we adopt this change to our planning zone as proposed by staff.
Well, I want you to know I have nothing against mental health services or assistance, but these 24-hour detox things, I in office or professional zone or in a commercial zone in a shopping center. I mean, I don't know how you'd feel about that over in Shadow Ridge, having one come into one of your shopping centers over there. I don't think this is a good idea. The 24-hour, these are 24-hour detox things. These are not mental health service things that people go to for help. I mean, they are, but they're detox. They're 24-hour detox things is what they are. They aren't our regular mental health services that people could go to for a doctor and that. So I'm opposed to doing this. I don't think we should do this. We have the most social services of any city, and we would be the only city to have these. And I don't think that I want to be known for that in this city. So I have a heart for the homeless. We've done a whole master plan for that. I don't know that this is a part of that. I know that you have the one that you've looking at in our city. I would allow one, but I'm not going to open it up to have it in any strip center or any professional zone or office zone. So I'm going to be against this one. So who else would like to?
I would like to speak, please.
Councilmember Green and then Councilmember Contreras.
Thank you.
No problem at all. I just wanted to thank the mayor and thank Councilmember Franklin for speaking on this item. I definitely get the concerns of the mayor, and I definitely get the progress that Councilmember Franklin has made as well. I do feel like this is an avenue and pathway to provide additional services to those most in need. And I think that it is something that we are going to be able to provide our deputy sheriffs that's going to be a great tool to combat homelessness within our city. Now, I feel like the safety mechanism that's put in here for us is the SUP, the special use permit. If something wants to come into a commercial zone in a particular area, we as the council have the oversight to approve or deny that individually. So the projects that are in place, I'm aware of where they're located. I approve of where they possibly could be going. So I am in favor of changing the code in order to be able to possibly provide these services. I'm not saying we're putting them in all over, but we need to be able to have areas in the city other than we're currently zoned where we can provide these services that are greatly needed, especially according to our sheriff's department. So with that, I would yield the floor to my council members for additional comment.
Councilmember Contreras.
First, I don't know if there's been a second, but I would like to second it. I think Councilmember Franklin put a motion forward, but I would like to second it. And I just want to go off of the comments that Councilmember Green just made. I completely understand where Mayor Ritter, where your concerns are coming from, because of the nature of this facility and the individuals who would be utilizing the facility. We're not creating a situation where these facilities can be put anywhere. The special use permit does allow us as a council, whichever council it may be at the time, to deliberate and look at whether or not the location of the proposed facility would be permissible to that immediate community. But when we're talking about our sheriff deputies and the millions of dollars that we spend annually, a little over $26 million on our sheriff's contract, with every deputy costing us about $277,000 per year. When we are looking at a situation where an individual in our community is experiencing a mental or behavioral health crisis, instead of a deputy needing to take them further away, taking them that deputy out of the city boundaries, where we're still paying for that deputy to be patrolling here in the city of Vista, If they don't have a facility as such as the crisis stabilization that we're talking about, it really does take deputies away from what we want them to be doing in our community. So it is imperative for us as a community to look at different strategies that we know are going to complement our sheriff deputies' efforts, our community's efforts to really improve the quality of life, not only for those who are experiencing behavioral health crises or experiencing other situations that may lead to behavioral health crisis. By doing that, we can improve the quality of life of all Vistans. And it is incredibly necessary at this point. Right now we are in a global pandemic, and we need to make sure that individuals that need to touch, a point of contact where they have the resources necessary to be stabilized and be able to make the proper decisions moving forward, that's going to be huge. So I just really want to applaud our city staff and the individual council members' efforts to get the ball rolling on this. And I am 100% in support of it. And I do second the motion on the floor. Thank you.
Okay, the only thing I would add to that is they're not just talking about Vista people. It's all the cities will be dropping off here. And each center doesn't come with a deputy. And it's not just behavioral health. It's alcoholism, it's drugs, and it's just 24-hour detox. You're going to dry them out, put them back on the street or wherever they go. Maybe you hope they would go into something different, but it's a 24-hour detox is what a lot of it is. So it is, and they come from other cities. So and there's no rules on these. The one that we have, Exodus, we have some rules set on that one. On all of these, you don't necessarily have rules set on them. They can sheriff from other cities or the police from other cities can drop them off, and there they are in our city. So just so you know, there's other issues going on. It isn't just a nice behavioral health, come in and we're going to help you. It's a 24-hour detox center is what you're talking about. So anyway, I see you've got the
May I speak on this item?
I would just like real quick just to say that it definitely is needed in the community. I see it all the time. And I know individuals who have utilized Exodus, and that was the only thing that was available to them. And their parents are very thankful for their adult children to have access to a crisis stabilization unit. Thank you.
Well, and I agree with you. Some people do that, but we're talking about expanding this. We're not talking about the one. We're talking about expanding it. Okay. Councilmember Melendez.
Awesome. Thank you. As a behavioral health professional providing social work services for people experiencing substance use disorders and homelessness as my prior role to this one, I was really excited to see this on the agenda. I had a couple questions for staff regarding the language of this item. I think, Madam Mayor, you also touched on this a little bit. It's not quite clear exactly what services are being offered, or if this is just kind of a general language that's laid out to allow for different kinds of treatment within a 24-hour capacity. But based on county standards and many of the substance use and behavioral health programs here that are funded by the county, typically they use language like outpatient program, residential program, inpatient, and that type of thing. So my understanding is that this program SUP overlay wouldn't be for a residential treatment facility, but it would be for services that could be offered within a 24-hour period. Detox services are considered medical services. That's considered medically assisted detox, and they are a medical necessity for people who are experiencing substance use disorder and withdrawal. So, if that is a service that's offered at one of these centers with this this special use permit, depending on the needs of the patient, that might be relevant. So it's not up for us to determine what's the best need for the patient experiencing a substance use disorder, but to be able to provide those services. However, I share concerns about the environment, right, that can be created with a 24-hour treatment facility. Things that the community often has concerns about, like trash or needles or cigarette butts, loitering, different people who they might have uncomfortable experiences with. So if it's possible, I would love to explore opportunities to overlay an environmental aspect to this SUP, where we consider improving, public infrastructure to accommodate some of those issues, right? Perhaps requiring trash cans at the nearest public right-of-way to this zoning, or cigarette butt receptacles, that kind of thing, maybe addressing lighting issues that might occur. But I also agree with Councilmember Green's statements that because it is a special use permit, we will be able to have a little bit more, nuance and specificity about what areas would be appropriate. All areas of Vista could use more resources for substance use disorder treatment, whether that's in my district and District 3, or even in Shadow Ridge. There are folks who are struggling with a substance use disorder, and having those services integrated in the community can actually create a much more positive, pro-social and sober environment for the community, right? Rather than having to go somewhere else for your treatment, you can stay within your own neighborhood and feel like you're integrated and you're actually building community. So I really love that this special use permit is going to allow us to have not just treatment options in the community, but we can create a positive, sober, and recovery-oriented environment for people. So those were a couple of my comments. I know that there was a second for the motion made by Contreras, so I'll go ahead and leave it at that.
Madam Mayor, I think we have a member of the public that would like to be recognized, and I'd like to be recognized again.
Okay. Kathy, are you?
Yeah, we could go ahead and take the speaker. It's Nancy Michelle. Go ahead, Nancy. Nancy, are you there?
I think she's muted.
Nancy, if you want to go ahead and unmute. Do we want to have Councilmember Franklin make his, are you there, Nancy?
No, this is the city attorney. Just wondering if Councilman Franklin's motion included closing the public hearing.
It did. While we're waiting for the citizen who wanted to comment, if she's able to join us, I wanted to ask Mr. Conley to clarify a few items. So are you, did you write the change to our zoning code here that we're contemplating to talk to us about some of the other services in addition to the crisis stabilization unit that you envisioned accommodating with this change, if you would?
They're primarily therapy-related services that would be like normal outpatient services provided for mental health patients that schedule appointments with their therapists or their doctors to go and see. So it's almost all the categories included are outpatient for less than 24 hours. They're primarily programmed therapy sessions where it would be regular office visits, with the exception of the crisis categories, which would be, more timely or urgent response needed services, all within 24 hours again, and outpatient again.
One of the concerns that we've had, and we're not getting into the CSU discussion tonight, but because this is a broad policy change, are there other facilities? Say, do the sheriffs or police in other cities, do they deliver and enter individuals into a substance abuse detox facility for 24 hours? Or my understanding is the only facility that the police have for that is to take somebody to the county jail.
That's correct. I know there are some other facilities within the county. There are none in this region, in this North County area, in Vista particularly. Exodus does provide some services, but they're not the types of services that would fall under the crisis intervention or stabilization categories. That's what they've requested. Go ahead.
And is it true that under state law, you can have a substance abuse treatment center in a residential neighborhood, basically anywhere with up to 6 people? Is that still the state law?
As long as it's less than 6.
Right. So essentially, a lot of our neighborhoods have these facilities, and it's not at the shopping center down the street. It's literally could be the house next door. And that's something that I know the League of Cities and other cities have been fighting for a long time because it creates a lot of problems for neighbors. But these facilities are here and among us. And then the last thing I wanted to ask you, Mr. Conley, is if you could talk just very briefly about the special use process and what's required to obtain a special use permit.
Sure. So any application for a special use permit requires a fee. It's about an $8,000 fee. Pays for staff time to review the application to verify its location is safe and has appropriate security, lighting, parking, trash receptacles, loitering, etc. All those issues are reviewed by staff in the various departments. It's brought before the Planning Commission for a public hearing. All the properties within 500 feet are notified. Public hearing is held and the commission will make a decision on it with any conditions that support the environmental conditions that were mentioned, and that decision is appealable to the council.
And any member of the council can appeal that decision by informing the city manager that they desire to do so.
That's correct.
So, essentially, we could make one-by-one decisions. We could have narrowly tailored the change for the crisis stabilization unit. At the end of the day, this ordinance would still preserve the ability of the council to implement narrow restrictions. I can tell you we've gone back and forth with the county. I've been involved in just about every round of negotiations. It's gone on for more than a year, and it's a very long list of requirements that we have placed, and I appreciate staff doing that. We've been very thoughtful in how to restrict and make sure that the interests of the citizens of Vista are protected. And it's definitely something that we put a lot of thought into, and I know that before the staff brings forward any SUP application under this ordinance, that they and the council member in the area and the whole council will work to establish equally protective restrictions and covenants that go along with that special use permit. So there are some downsides, and you're right. I have concerns. And, I have no doubt that there will be some pain that comes along with providing these services. But as I look at the incredible number of people who are living on the streets of Vista, who, they want us to believe that only 5% of them are addicted to substance. We know the truth is 95% of them are addicted to methamphetamine and heroin. We need facilities to assist these folks. We had our crisis stabilization units closed at Tri-City. We do need some options where our deputies don't have to drive all the way down to a sports arena. Anyway, we'll get into more of the restrictions when that item comes, but that's the end of my comments.
Okay, seeing no further comments, I guess we will call for a roll call vote.
Let me see if I get Nancy on one more time.
Okay.
Nancy, are you there? Nancy Michelle? It does not look like it. Nancy, can you unmute? All right, unfortunately.
Sorry.
Are you there? Okay. Go ahead.
Council. That was actually an accidental hand raise. I had my phone in my pocket, so.
All right.
Fun with Zoom.
Thanks, Nancy.
and I didn't recognize how you were saying my last name, so.
Sorry.
Anyway, have a good night. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Okay. No comments.
Okay, so seeing no further comments, then I will call for a roll call vote.
All right, please state your vote when I call your name. Mayor Ritter?
No.
Councilmember Franklin?
Aye.
Councilmember Green?
Aye.
Councilmember Contreras?
Aye.
Councilmember Melendez?
Aye.
Vote passes 4-1 with Mayor Ritter opposing. Thank you.
That takes us to our discussion items, and we have 3 discussion items this evening. The first one is to appoint the deputy mayor. Any members of the public wish to speak on this item, they may indicate so by using the raise hand feature or by pressing *9 now. So would any council members like to make a recommendation?
I would, Mayor.
Yes, Councilmember Franklin.
I'd like to nominate Councilman Joe Green to serve as our deputy mayor in 2021.
Okay.
I would like to second that motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Contreras. Do I have any members of the public that wish to speak on it?
No, we do not have any public comment.
Okay, with that, then we have a motion and a second. So I would have a roll call vote.
Terrific. Please state your vote when I call your name. Mayor Ritter?
Yes.
Councilmember Franklin?
Aye.
Councilmember Green?
Aye.
Councilmember Contreras?
I'm going to say 5 out of 5 tacos on this one. I'm going to say aye.
Councilmember Melendez?
Aye.
The item passes unanimously.
Thank you, Council.
So I have to remember to say Deputy Mayor Green. I have to remember to say that now. Okay, so the next item, D2, is our transportation impact analysis guidelines. Our traffic engineer, Sam Hassanane, will provide the staff report. If any members of the public wish to speak on this item, they may indicate so by using the raise hand feature or pressing *9 now. The speakers will be called upon after the staff presentation. So do you want to, we'll look at the staff presentation and then we'll take questions. So it's to Sam.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Can you hear me? This is Sam Hassanane, City of Vista Traffic Engineer, and I have a presentation about transportation impact analysis guidelines. Next slide, please. So a quick background is the Environmental Quality Act, or the California Environmental Quality Act, better known as CEQA, was enacted in 1970, which provides for environmental protections from adverse project impacts. And project impacts vary widely, and some of those include impacts on traffic and transportation. Next slide, please. So for many years, agencies around the state have used automobile delay as the metric to measure project negative impacts and impose mitigation requirements. And typically vehicle delays estimated using methodologies detailed in the Federal Highway Capacity Manual. And the metric is commonly known as level of service, or even better known as LOS. Next slide, please. So more recently in 2013, the California legislature passed Senate Bill 743. And what the bill does, it removes automobile vehicle delay and other similar measures of vehicle capacity or traffic congestion from CEQA transportation analysis. What the bill states in part is that it promotes the reduction, or it wants to use measures that promote the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, the development of multimodal transportation networks, and diversity of land uses must be used as a basis for determining significant transportation impacts under CEQA. Next slide, please. So after the passage of Senate Bill 743, the state developed guidelines, more detailed guidelines to build on the new bill, and the guidelines identified vehicle miles traveled as the most appropriate measure of transportation impacts for CEQA compliance purposes. And what VMT is the total distance a vehicle travels from each origin to destination. Next slide, please. This is kind of a graphic, just kind of explains what vehicle miles traveled is. So, for example, a vehicle starts at home, goes 1 mile to a coffee shop, 5 miles to work, then 1 mile to a restaurant, 1 mile back to work, 2 miles to maybe grocery shopping, then 5 miles back home. That's a total of 15 VMT for that vehicle. So the trips in a region or a city or a census tract for all the vehicles get all added up, and that becomes the VMT for that area. Next slide, please. So in compliance with Senate Bill 743, we have developed transportation impact guidelines with the assistance of STC Inc., which is a traffic engineering consultant. And the guidelines are in conformance with Senate Bill 743 as well as state and local Institute of Transportation Engineers guidelines. Next slide, please. And with some of the highlights of the guidelines is when is a CEQA VMT analysis required, and the threshold that we are adopting is 1,000 or more ADT for projects consistent with the general plan, and 500 or more ADT for projects inconsistent with the general plan. So to give you an idea what 1,000 ADT is, and then 500 ADT trip generation guidelines is 10 ADT per single family home. So that would be a project of 100 single family homes would generate 1,000 ADT, or which is the ADT is the average daily traffic. For office, it's 20 per 1,000 square feet. So that would be 50,000 square feet of office. And then it's 120 per 1,000 feet of neighborhood shopping center. Next slide, please. Another threshold, once a project is determined to need to conduct BMT CEQA analysis, if the project is determined to generate 85% or more of the regional VMT average, then it is required to provide mitigation measures. And I'll provide an example a little bit later. Next slide, please. So there are some projects that are screened out outright out of the VMT analysis. That means they're exempt, that you do not have to conduct the VMT analysis. And some of those include projects in transit priority and smart growth opportunity areas. Usually those are the denser areas. Low VMT generating areas. Also, those are typically denser areas. Schools and daycares, parks, local retail, less than 50,000 square feet. So that would be like a shopping center, a neighborhood shopping center, which includes grocery stores, gas stations, things like that. Because the idea behind those is that they would actually reduce the overall VMT because people would not have to travel farther to do these things. Public institutions, affordable housing, assisted living facilities, and senior housing. Next slide, please. This is just a quick example, a residential project with 200 single-family homes. So it's 10 trips per day for a single-family home. So the total ADT on that is 2,000 vehicles per day. Therefore, this would require a VMT analysis. Next slide, please. So Sandag has developed actually lookup maps for VMT, which makes it a lot easier. This is based on modeling of the whole San Diego region, as well as there's actually, it's done on the census tract level. So for the city of Vista, there's several census tracts that we would go to the map and look that up. So based on the project area, the project is determined to generate 16.4 VMT per resident. And the regional VMT for the city of Vista for per resident is 19.0 VMT per resident. So the project would be calculated to generate 86.7% of the regional VMT. This means that the project generates more than 85% of the regional average, and mitigation is required. Next slide, please. Just some examples of mitigation measures based on the VMT CEQA analysis. Comprehensive employer commuter program, employer carpool program, employer transit pass subsidy, employer telework programs, transit-oriented development, higher density development, mixed-use development, parking pricing, reduced parking provided by a project, pedestrian and bicycle network and facility improvements, adaptive traffic signal systems, and traffic incident management. Next slide, please. So the new city guidelines have not completely gotten rid of the LOS analysis as other cities are doing. So the VMT analysis would be required to basically satisfy CEQA requirements. However, to comply with this general plan of the city and to ensure that impacts to local traffic safety and operations are assessed, we still require LOS analysis for projects. That concludes my presentation.
Okay, do we have any members of the public that want to speak on this item?
I do not show any requests to speak at this time.
Okay, do any of the council members have questions or comments? Councilmember Green, Deputy Mayor Green.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. Number one, I just want to thank Sam so much for this presentation. I know how much time and work goes into this, and just as our traffic engineer, we've had a lot of conversations. I know you work super hard to make sure we have adequate infrastructure and maintain good traffic flow throughout the city. I also just wanted to thank you for also keeping the LOS. I know that CEQA may not require the LOS, but I think being able to let our constituents know what the level of service in every intersection in their community is and how we can improve that is very important. So even though it's not necessarily required, the fact that we go above and beyond in order to provide that information to our constituents, and then also hold developers to that standard is, hey, we want to make sure if you want to put a project in, that it's giving a level of service to our constituents that is conducive of a great, quality of life per se. So with that, I want to move that we adopt City Council resolution adopting the transportation impact analysis guidelines as presented. And once again, thank you so much, Sam, for your work.
Thank you.
Have any other comments from the council members? Looking for hand. Okay. Councilmember Franklin.
It seems to me that we're adding ever greater levels of complexity, not only to building housing stock, which increases the cost of housing, but also to analysis. The policies of the state don't really seem to be geared towards improving the way our surface transportation systems work. They really seem to be geared towards densification. That is what SANDAG is driving toward, and what the state legislature is driving toward. Vista is a semi-rural and suburban, community with some urban elements. So it's a shame to see this additional level of complexity, which I think in many cases is a grasp at thin air approach. I couldn't begin to understand how to do the analysis here on the back of an envelope. I don't think anybody else will either. It'll require consultants who claim to be specialists in it, and they'll charge hundreds of thousands of dollars to analyze. I wish we were taking simpler approaches to solving our transportation needs than this. So it's disappointing, but I'm told by staff that we're required to adopt this by state law. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I appreciate you, Sam.
Thank you.
Do you want to second that motion?
Not really.
Okay. I'll second the motion. Okay, do we have anybody else want to say anything? Seeing none, I guess we'll call for a roll call vote.
All right, please state your vote when I call your name. Mayor Ritter?
Yes.
Councilmember Franklin?
No.
Councilmember Green?
Aye.
Councilmember Contreras?
Aye.
Councilmember Melendez?
Aye.
Item passes 4-1 with Franklin opposed. Thank you.
That takes us to item D3, which is North County request for funding. And actually, I asked for this item to be on the agenda, so I guess I'll introduce the item. If any member of the public want to speak on this item, they can indicate so by using the raise hand feature or pressing *9 now. And so where are my notes here? Operation Hope was, here I go. So Operation Hope was founded in North County as a 4-month emergency shelter. And that was back, I can't remember, 2016, I want to think, it's several years ago. Then in 2016, they expanded to a year-round shelter. And so they raised in 2012, they raised over $1 million to acquire and construct their new facilities there. That is 859 East Vista Way. I know most of it have visited there. In addition to the money raised by the city and the San Diego Foundation Impact Investment Fund provided funding to assist with the development of that shelter. And the city provided a $225,000 forgivable loan that is set to mature in 2032. And the San Diego Foundation loan has a current balance of $203,000 and requires a monthly payment of $2,200 or annually $24,000. So they're requesting that they would like to request the Operation Hope for a second city loan in the amount of $200,000 to assist in paying off their outstanding 2012 San Diego Foundation loan. It would merge with the original loan. bringing the loan total to $525,000. It will kind of mimic the same terms as the original loan with the city. So then the request is attached in our notes here. So I would recommend, I think it does a great job of taking some of the homeless off the street and the families and single women. And so I would support doing this so that it will help them with their monthly cash flow by $2,200. And so they can put that money toward helping the families rather than trying to pay their rent every month, having that stress of that payment. So that would be my recommendation. And yes, Deputy Mayor Green.
I was just wondering if that was an actual motion, Madam Mayor?
Yes, it was a motion.
Awesome. Well, since 2016, since Operation Hope has become a year-round shelter, I've seen the tremendous impact they've made on our community. And with the loan being due to be forgiven within the next 10 years, I think giving them another loan to continue to do the work they're doing within our community keeps it on the books basically of where it's going to be at. So I think this is a great opportunity to help an organization that's helped so many. And I appreciate the mayor bringing this forward. And with that said, I will definitely second with 5 tacos, Madam Mayor Ritter's motion.
Okay. Okay, so do I have any other comments? Councilmember Franklin.
I'll just speak in favor of the motion. Again, this is part of our commitment to solving homelessness and in providing support services to families in our community. Operation Hope has been long-serving members of the Vista community. It was founded by former employees of the city and has been long supported. And we appreciate their good work in service of our city.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to say that I appreciate that this item is such a good example of the relationship that we have with our service providers in the community, right? This is really kind of meeting them where they're at and based on what we can provide. So I really love the creativity in this item.
Thank you. And Councilmember Contreras, I saw you raise your hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm fully in support of this motion, and Operation Hope is an incredible asset to the city of Vista. They've been doing tremendous work for such a long time, and it's a very pre-COVID when we were able to go visit, the environment itself is a very just great environment to be in. And you can tell that the individuals that are utilizing Operation Hope are having a good experience and they're on their way to create a better life for themselves and for their families. And anything that the city can do to help augment the role and what Operation Hope does, I'm here for it. So this is an incredible opportunity for us to extend some of our resources to ensure, especially in a time where costs are potentially a little bit higher because of sanitation and whatnot during the pandemic. Like Mayor Ritter said, freeing up the cash flow is going to be huge for Operation Hope. So I'm fully in support of this and very thankful that Mayor Ritter placed this on our agenda for discussion today.
Thank you. Do I have any comments from the public? Kathy?
No, there are no comments.
Okay, so then I guess we would, this is not a public hearing, is it? No. So we don't have to close it. Okay, so then I will call for a roll call vote, please.
Please state your vote when I call your name. Mayor Ritter?
Yes.
Councilmember Franklin?
Aye.
Councilmember Green?
Aye.
Councilmember Contreras?
Aye.
Councilmember Melendez?
Aye.
The item passes unanimously.
Okay, that brings us to our oral communications. This is an opportunity for the public to comment on agency-related matters that are not on the agenda. If any members of the public wish to address the City Council, they may indicate so by using the raise hand feature or pressing *9 now. City Clerk Valdez, do we have any members of the public that wish to provide communication?
Yes, we do. The first will be Carol Jeffries. Go ahead, Carol.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Hi, I have talked to a number of you, and I talked to Sam Hausman as well. On last Saturday on the 28th, my son was riding his bike from downtown to our neighborhood. We live on Alta Vista. And he got hit by a hit and run driver. He was headed northbound on, no, he was headed east on Eucalyptus from downtown toward the Civic Center. And a truck, he had a green light, and he is a very experienced cyclist. He's on the road all the time. He's 20 years old. And he was headed home, and a truck ran the red light going northbound on Civic Center, and they collided, and he hit the fender, and he was really lucky, because if he had been just a couple of feet further, he could have been killed. So he escaped with a minor shoulder injury and a really bad black eye and some road rash that got infected. So we've had a really bad week. But I really wanted to talk to you all en masse about finding some creative solutions for that road. My other son and I almost got in the exact same accident going the opposite direction with a red light runner, but we just narrowly missed being creamed by somebody else running a red light. That light and the one at Crescent, which we use every day, are very frequently run by people on Civic Center, and it's scary, frankly, to not know whether you can go through your red light safely without somebody totally disregarding the lights. I just really implore you to get creative with some solutions. A lot of other cities have done some things that were very creative. Joe Green told me that they're already thinking about, you guys are already slated to put in one of those signs that tells you how fast you're going on that stretch of the road. But we were in Encinitas. We just went out for a drive to get out of the house the other day, and we were in Leucadia, and they have done a lot for cyclists in Leucadia, a lot. And I know they have a lot more cyclists because it's the coast and everybody wants to ride the coast. But it shouldn't just be about hobby cyclists. This should be for everyone. I mean, nobody should be out riding their bike and get hit by a car. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And it's likewise with pedestrians. And we have so much cross-through traffic in our city, and we just need to let them know that this is our city and it's for our residents, and they can pass through, but they have to be mindful of the fact that people live here and they ride here and they walk here, and it's our city. And I think we need to do things, take some of these creative measures. We can use art to our advantage to slow people down.
I'm sorry, Carol, your time is up.
I'm sorry, I didn't know it was time.
Thank you very much. All right, the next caller has phone number ending in 1822. Caller, if you go ahead and unmute and state your name. So caller ending phone number 1822. There you go.
Hi. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Peggy Walker. I've heard a lot of talk tonight regarding substance abuse facilities and detox centers, and I would suggest that we could help prevent at least some need for those services with drug policy changes. Reading an article about a recent teen break-in at a local pot shop brought me here tonight. I know the city is in the process of permitting more marijuana outlets plus manufacturing businesses that will produce products with high THC potency, including flavored edibles and vaping products that appeal to teens. As a public health educator, this is very concerning to me. Experts say 15% THC potency represents a hard drug, yet weed today is at 18% potency, and edibles, vape products, and others that will be manufactured in new businesses to be permitted can have potency as high as 95%. Dr. Reed Lev, emergency addiction physician at Scripps Mercy Hospital, has called for strong public health consideration when it comes to marijuana and drug policy because of escalating teen use in part and because of escalating ER admittals. County hospital data show 29 or more per day, ER admissions are marijuana related. Policies that promote increased marijuana and drug use, along with the normalization of drugs, sacrifice our youth and therefore our future, Dr. Leff stated. She warns that the chances of addiction are 4 to 7 times higher for teens and young adults up to age 27 when the brain reaches full development. With this and other data in mind, I would urge you to consider the recommendation of Dr. Lev for strong public health consideration in marijuana and drug policy making. The first step could be to place a cap on THC potency. This would not stop sales, but it would certainly serve the interests of public health. I hope that you will research and consider it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, the next speaker is Jim Riggenbach. Go ahead, Jim.
I just wanted to commend the council for passing the 2 resolutions that are really going to help some of our most vulnerable neighbors and excuse me, and make Vista a better place to live. So thank you very much for that. And thank you everybody for your hard work, representing everybody. Being on the city council is a tough job, and just want to say thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Next is Kathleen Lippett. Go ahead, Kathleen. Go ahead, Kathleen.
Unmute.
Go ahead, Kathleen.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. As a small business owner, Kathy Lippett here. As a small business owner, public health practitioner, and researcher of issues related to youth drug use, I would like to share some data from SANDAG on the juvenile arrestee drug use and trends. These young people are the equivalent of canaries in coal mines. The data is high quality, relevant, current, and alarming. It documents a 20-year high in drug use among these youth and trends which are all going in the wrong direction. Sadly, this data has been all but ignored with city efforts to invite and grow a local commercial marijuana industry. The report found that 2/3 of local arrestees in 2019 said they were more likely to use marijuana once it was legal. But this SANDAG data should not come as a surprise to anyone except those who have paid, if they have paid a modicum of attention. The epidemic of youth marijuana use continues unabated in the face of marijuana industry efforts to promote their child-friendly and high THC recreational products. Youth consider these products to be less harmful than tobacco. The industry's messages of harmlessness, therapeutic value, normalization, and promotions have been taken to heart by our youth. The industry continues, as it always has, to target youth and potentially high-risk users to ensure their long-term financial success. So forgive me if the voice of an economically conflicted marijuana attorney has zero credibility. It is unconscionable that this attorney has the audacity to disparage those who care about young people as individuals and not as customers. What is disappointing is that the council members tolerate such disrespect, dismissal, and discrediting of voices who see firsthand the negative impacts of marijuana use among students, like teachers, public health professionals, and families touched by the tragedy of drug use. Welcome to the new city council, newly elected council members, and thank you again to outgoing Mayor Rigby, Deputy Mayor Rigby, for her service. Good night.
Thank you. Next is Becky Rapp. Go ahead, Becky.
Good evening, Vista City Council. My name is Becky Rapp. I'm a mother and youth group mentor. I appreciate the discussion on substance use disorder. It's important to note that not only do addictive drugs bring on substance abuse, but also increase our crime rates. This is what I'd like to bring to your attention tonight. Crime rates are on the rise in and around marijuana outlets, especially since 3 teens were accused in burglarizing 2 separate marijuana dispensaries here in our city of Vista. A great amount of vandalism and damage was done to the buildings. Neighborhoods are suffering. Marijuana in our city has become more prevalent and accessible for young people who are experiencing anxiety and disconnectedness. For this reason, it's crucial that council members and staff help educate community members to ensure the safety of our neighborhoods. I'd like to share with you a few recent incidences in our city and our county that help illustrate the fact that marijuana dispensaries are not without crime. 2 weeks ago, a 21-year-old man was shot in City Heights and has passed away when involved in a marijuana transaction. The suspect of the shooting was involved in a standoff and eventually ran into a nearby home. Another incident in Ramona involved a 46-year-old man shot in his home located next to a legal marijuana dispensary. And most recently, this past week, we sadly learned of another shooting in the unincorporated area of El Cajon at a marijuana dispensary. During these times of isolation and heightened anxieties, I strongly recommend that educating community members regarding the negative effects of marijuana use and sales be a vital priority. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Kelly McCormick. Go ahead, Kelly.
Hi, this is Kelly McCormick. I'm the parent of 2 teens, and I've been a volunteer for numerous youth-related organizations, including PTA, Scouts, sports, and more. We all want teens to grow into healthy, self-reliant young adults with good mental health and bright futures. But I fear that the normalization of marijuana use and the plentiful supply of both permitted and illegal marijuana is endangering our youth. As you've heard other speakers reference the recent SANDAG survey tonight, it shows that juvenile arrestees who were not arrested for marijuana, but surveyed and had urine tests and discovered that more than 2/3 of them, I'm sorry, I misspoke. More than 2/3 said they had dabbed THC. So that was their what they told the surveyors. And this is a highly concentrated form of marijuana's psychoactive ingredient. 61% of them did not believe that marijuana is addictive. This trend is especially dangerous because it's well known that use goes up when the perception of harm goes down. 1 in 16 users will become addicted. And did you know that substance use disorder is categorized as a pediatric onset disease? 90% of people with addiction started smoking, drinking, or using other drugs before the age of 18. And now with the explosion of vaping, more teens than ever are picking up the habit, using both nicotine and marijuana. As policymakers, I urge you to assist parents and youth leaders with much needed education on the harms associated with marijuana use. And consider the message teens are receiving when marijuana businesses are located near residences and youth-sensitive areas, and when they are exposed to marijuana advertising. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And that completes oral communication.
Okay, that takes us to our remarks. I have just a few little things here. The new arch marking the entrance into the Paseo Santa Fe corridor from Civic Center Drive has been installed. The top will remain covered until the street improvement project is completed in a few weeks, and then it will be, then we'll uncover it. So that's exciting. If you haven't seen it, it looks really nice down there. The Vista Planning Commission will be discussing the city's draft housing plan during a virtual meeting on December 15th. To join the virtual discussion on how to plan for Vista's future housing needs, information on that is available online at cityofvista.com. The County of San Diego Emergency Rental Assistance Program is providing grants up to $3,000 to cover rent for eligible households financially impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Information is on the county's website at sandiegocounty.gov on that. And the city's new Jingle Terrace Park drive-through holiday light event opened this past Saturday, and it runs through December 28th at Brengle Terrace Park from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. We invite you to bring a canned food donation to drop off for the San Diego Food Bank and learn more about this event at thecityofvista.com/holidays. I have a couple more things, but I think I'll go through and have everybody do their announcements and then, or their remarks, and then I'll go back and finish those last two. So I'll go to the Deputy Mayor first. How about the new Deputy Mayor, Green? Any remarks?
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. Yes, for sure. First of all, I just want to welcome our new council member, Katie Melendez, to the team. I look super forward to your insight and your area of expertise and any knowledge I can glean off of you over this next 4-year period. I also just want to thank Vista voters in District 2. I was elected. I was sworn in tonight. Thank you so much. 10,465 votes in my little district. And whether you were the 5,796 that voted for me or the 4,669 that didn't, I'm still your councilman. And I want to make sure you know that I'm here. I'm available for you. This isn't an election. This isn't me campaigning. This is me being here for Vista. And whatever you need, I'm available. 760-815-4872 is my direct cell phone. You can email me anytime. You can set up meetings with Doris there at City Hall. And know that I love this job. I appreciate being elected. I will work extremely hard for my community. I also, hopefully I won't drop this, want to thank staff. Even in the midst of COVID, I got a cake. What? I understand it's chocolate inside there, much larger than I anticipated, but I'm chowing down on this bad boy. Don't judge me, Councilmember Franklin. I might go face first. So thank you guys for that. I'm so excited to serve another 4 years. Lastly, and it's a kind of a somber note, I lost one of my best friends in the entire universe yesterday. My best friend, J. Daniel Ayers. He's a Vista boy, graduated from Rancho Buena Vista High School in 1997. He's got a wife, couple kids that he leaves behind, and a family that loves him tremendously. I wouldn't be the man that I am without my best friend and without his family that fed me several times as a little kid growing up. And Dad Mark made me take down glasses of milk at dinner. So, so many memories with that family, but just kind of want to conclude my comments and also just dedicate my next 4 years of service to my man, J. Daniel Ayers. Thank you, Council. I love you. I love you, Vista, and I'm honored to be your Deputy Mayor.
Councilmember Franklin.
Well, I also want to congratulate and welcome our newest member of the council, Councilwoman Melendez. We're looking forward to working with you. Welcome.
So we'll go to Councilmember Contreras.
I'm going to jump on the congratulations train here and just say congratulations to our newest member, Council Member Katie Melendez. We look forward to a lot of fruitful discussions, and it's always great when we have new members of the City Council bringing different skill sets to the table. So I really look forward to what the future has in store. And I want to let the community know that due to the stay-at-home orders, sadly, our little trash pickup crew is going to be on hiatus and we'll reevaluate in the next year, which is coming up pretty soon. So if you can, just maybe around your front yard, pick up any trash that you see on the side, and better yet, before it becomes trash, put it in the trash can. Don't let it become litter. Just take care of it. Be proactive, Vista. Let's keep Vista beautiful in this climactic wonderland, being as jazzy as it usually is. So I want to just say to the community, I hope everybody has some happy holidays coming up. And since we won't be convening as a council until the next year, I hope everybody has a good rest of their 2020. Stay safe. We have a COVID.
Uh-oh. Am I gone?
No, I think Councilmember Contreras is frozen up.
Oh, she froze. Okay. Is she going to unfreeze? Oh, there she is.
Yeah, it looks like my employee network disconnected for like 1 second. But I just want to say we have a COVID-19 testing facility here in Vista. It's at 600 North Santa Fe. It's open 7 days a week from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the Linda Rhodes Community Center. So if you or a family member or friend needs a COVID test, please go. It's free. You don't need an appointment. It's walk-in. And don't forget to wear your masks and stay safe, everybody. Have a great new year.
Councilmember Melendez.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone, staff, for your warm welcome and helping me navigate City Hall. And to my colleagues who I now share this body with, thank you so much for your partnership. We're going to have amazing discussions and do a lot of service and work for the community. So I'm really excited about that. I also want to say a big thank you to my parents and my family. Growing up in Vista, I never thought that I would represent as your local elected official, but here I am. And I'm really proud and grateful for the values that my parents gave me of service and resilience. And I want to just say that I am available and here to serve the community. You can contact me through the city, through Doris, our secretary, or you could call me 760-277-2922. This is my job. My job is to serve the community, and I'm ready for this next 4 years and really looking forward to it. So thank you, everyone, for the warm welcome. Deputy Mayor Green and I are going to have an after party eating our own cakes by ourselves. This is really great. Huge cake. Really grateful for that. Thank you all so much. This has been amazing. Have a great night.
City Manager, do you have anything?
I do have a number of comments, but first off, I want to welcome Councilmember Melendez. I look forward to working with you as well. Happy birthday to the mayor this past Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to sing, but I did want to say happy birthday to the mayor.
Thank you.
A few updates. One is the state's new regional stay-at-home order has affected the Vista Library, so they're closed to the public right now. However, they do have walk-up door service that will be provided Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to, I believe it's 4 p.m. And because of the stay-at-home order, city staff on Monday closed down all the playground equipment at our parks. The parks are open, but the playground equipment has been closed off. And since we're not meeting again, city offices will be closed in observance of the holiday starting on December 24th through January 1st. And folks that have trash pickup, which occurs on Friday, their trash pickup will be delayed by 1 day. And so that is all I have. Thank you.
Hey, do I have anything from, how about our city attorney? Do you have anything tonight?
Well, I would also like to welcome Councilmember Melendez to the fold. Look forward to working with her. And for everyone, I want to wish them a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and we'll see you next year on Zoom.
Right. How about our city clerk?
I would also like to welcome and congratulate City Councilmember Melendez and also congratulate Councilmember Green on his reelection and now appointment as Deputy Mayor. And also to wish everyone happy holidays, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you all in 2021. Thanks.
Thank you. And I also would like to congratulate Councilmember Melendez and Councilmember Deputy Mayor Green. I have to remember to say that every time. Yes, so congratulations to both of you. We look forward to working with you for the next several years, 2 years for me. So it'll be, anyway, that's later discussion. So this is our last council meeting of the year, everybody. So happy holidays to everybody and happy new year. Yesterday, December 7th was Pearl Harbor Day. So we take a moment to reflect and honor the military and civilian dead and the thousands of others who survived the attack on Pearl Harbor 79 years ago. These individuals demonstrated remarkable resiliency, courage, and teamwork even when under attack, and we owe them a depth of gratitude. And my father was actually one of those that, he wasn't at Pearl Harbor, but he was in that war at that time. So, and then for adjournment, I would like to adjourn tonight's meeting in honor of two individuals that made considerable contributions to the community and the region. And sadly, they both passed away this last month. Nick Lubick served on the staff of the Vista Chamber of Commerce before taking over his family businesses and then serving on the Vista Chamber Board, including serving as board chairman. His family business has served Vistans for nearly 30 years, and Nick was a well-known figure in the business community. And the other person that passed away was Howard Williams. He was an award-winning journalist and advocate for openness and transparency in government. After moving to Vista in retirement, Howard was appointed to the Vista Irrigation District Board of Directors, where he served for nearly 22 years. He also served as a district representative on the San Diego County Water Authority Board for 17 years and was appointed by the San Diego County Board of Supervisors to represent the city of Vista on the Palomar Airport Advisory Committee, an appointment he held for over 20 years. So both these men will be very missed, and our thoughts are with their families and their friends during this time. So we're losing people, and it's a sad time, and we have to think of them over the holidays. And I wish everyone happy, warm holidays. Stay healthy, wear your masks, wash your hands, and get through this. And we will get through this together into the next year. With that, I will adjourn us. We are adjourned. Happy New Year.